In a more conservative Russian society, the idea of being gay, lesbian, or part of the LGBT community is not widely accepted by Russian society these days. The situation was a bit better before Soviet times. Way before the Soviet Union, in medieval Russia, Russians were more tolerant towards homosexuality. There were no laws against it, and the only criticism came from the church. This changed during the Soviet era because Stalin recriminalized homosexuality in 1933 with Article 121. It was punishable by up to 5 years in prison. This led 1,000 gays and lesbians arrested each year and a homosexual prison culture. This culture expected prisoners charged with Article 121 to satisfy the rest of the prisoners' sexual needs. They were called opushchene, translated as degraded. After the Soviet Union, the situation got a little better. Article 121 was removed in 1993, and those who were arrested for this were freed. There were some gay bars and clubs that opened up. Most of them did not advertise as gay clubs and bars, but were clearly LGBT friendly inside. There were not many pride parades in Russia. An LGBT activist named Nikolai Alexeyev led pride parades starting in 2005. Some were opposed to this and saw gays as pedophiles. This led to the anti-propaganda law that banned children from learning about the LGBT community. This law went into effect on June 30th, 2013. Nikolai is a lawyer, LGBT rights activist, and a journalist. He is one of the first people to be charged by the Russian government for protesting, and the propaganda law was created over the anger of his protests. In Chechnya, LGBT rights activists have been killed and arrested along with other gays and lesbians. Gay men were beaten and tortured by police. They were found because the identity of an admin for an LGBT-friendly group was revealed and his contacts were found out. Those who were in his contacts list on his phone were detained. The admin of the group posted to advertise all other LGBT members to flee Chechnya. The Chechnyan authorities tried to stop this by arresting gays and lesbians. They would take their travel documents away so they would not be able to leave. Many have fled and escaped authorities, but some are still being detained or released and cannot leave the republic. In this republic, more people are conservative Muslims who follow the leader, so some have told their family about their sexuality and were beaten or, in some extreme cases, killed. The situation has always went on in Chechnya. When Russia legalized homosexuality in 1993, Chechnya had their own law in 1996 that banned homosexuality. I have an aunt that used to live in Moscow, Russia, and she explained that more LGBT people are either living undercover or more open about it without having issues. She knows of a lesbian couple who live together and have 2 children, but they aren't as open about it. Around the Moscow area, the LGBT community does not face much discrimination. This anti-gay propaganda law was brought up during the 2018 FIFA World Cup, where an organization called Diversity House was providing a safe space for the LGBT and ethnic minorities who were attending the World Cup. This was in St. Petersburg. The night before the Diversity House was going to do this, they were kicked off the property. The LGBT and minority fans worried about their safety during the World Cup while everyone else was celebrating. I've decided to spoof my location to Russia and open the Grindr app. I will be messaging gay men to see what their life is like currently in Russia. I will be focusing on the cities of Moscow and Prem, and I will be asking these questions. What would you say is the general Russian attitude towards homosexuality? How has your day-to-day life been recently living as gay in Russia? What are your views on the situation in Chechnya? Audric mentions that the attitude towards homosexuality is mostly negative, but he has many friends who are tolerant. His life is the same as it was before. The fact that he is gay doesn't bother him in life. He does not tell every passerby that he is gay, but he doesn't hide it. And he doesn't really know much about the events in Chechnya. Edik explains that generally most people in Russia don't like gay people. They think that being gay is an illness, or they might be aggressive towards gay people. He explains that living here for gay people, especially in big cities, is not a huge problem. His family is educated just as his friends, so he has came out to all his friends and some family members, and they were okay with him being gay. He says the situation in Chechnya looks like the Middle Ages to him, and he is ashamed that happens in his country. The worst is that the federal government does nothing to address this problem and lets local authorities break all possible laws, including the Constitution. Fabi explains that the attitude towards homosexuality is negative in Russia. You're not supposed to say somewhere that you're gay. If you like someone who's gay, people may laugh and judge you. He says that the situation is very complicated in Chechnya. People living there are not Russians in fact, they are very traditional Muslims. Being and acting gay there is really dangerous, and even before, gays are chaste. Desya explains, in fact, the attitude towards homosexuality depends on the place and where the one lives. If there is a big city, then people are more curious and some of them are afraid of homosexuals. So they just stare with no words to gay people. If they're a village, then people will fight someone. He lives in a city, so the general attitude is to stare at the people and be afraid of homosexuals. His day-to-day life is okay. He does not feel a problem to live as gay. He just cannot ask a man to go out with him openly. He does not know much about Chechnya, but he heard some bad news and hates it, and he hates their politicians. Basically, if you live in a bigger city in Russia, you might have an easier time living as gay. The younger generation is a little bit more accepting than the older generation, but it depends. You have to watch out who you tell about your sexuality and who you want to hook up with. Damian Makido is a Russian citizen who left Russia because of the situation towards LGBT people. He was facing a lot of homophobia there and he couldn't live as openly gay. He now lives in New York. More about your life in Russia.
I just explain you how it was life in Russia. So I lived Russia 2.5 years ago, and right now I live in New York. But before in Russia, I have a lot of experience with problem about fact I'm gay. So people was hate me, they was beat me up, hit me, all the time in the school, in the university, in just on the street. So Russian people just hate gay people. I don't know actually why. Maybe it's because propaganda. And as well when I leave the country, it's was escape. And no one who knows. No one. I didn't say it's to my mother, to my father, to my grandma. Nobody knows about it. So I just leave my country and say to my mother in 1 week, sorry mom, I leave my country, I leave the Russia and right now I'm in New York. So I didn't say why, reasons in the first half year, but later I make the coming out in Instagram, and everybody knows about me, and my relationship with my family is right now super bad. They didn't accept it, and they thinking about it's my choice, but it's not choice. I was born like that. I was born gay. And when I leave my country, I don't know English, just don't know English. I just know 2 words, maybe hey, how are you? That's it. And I found out first job. It's in America. It's been in pizzeria. I'm been pizza maker. Yeah, it was funny. I was working 14 hours per day, 6 days per week. Because my family say me, we're not going to protect you because you live in this country and you gay and blah blah blah. So and just was surviving, but it's much better than live in Russia because when I walk in right now when I walk outside I don't feel I don't scary. I know people never insult me because I'm gay. I never had experience like that in this country. So in Russia last time why I leave the country because a group of people start a little bit start like stalkers start like texting me about like we're gonna kill you, we're gonna like burn your house, like something like that. It was like super crazy. But now like everything okay because I live here and I'm not gonna come back to Russia because I can't. Everybody knows I'm gay. Like Russians to me was right about me. I have YouTube video like this like 2,100 views and like a lot of comments. And now I try to protect gay people in Russia. When they text me, I try to answer. I try to um, give them some inspiration. I don't know, like don't worry, like it's gonna be okay. Like, but it's still super heavy because like just like kids can't go to the school because like in school like other kids try to insult them, try to like just hate them. Like it's like enemy, you know. It was like with me the same. I was like past my school a lot of times because I know if I going to school, like kids like gonna attack me, you know, and I don't want it, and I can't say it to my mother because like if like my mother knows about it, like knows I'm gay, she like was hate me as well. So I was every time like hide myself, and I never like I was thinking about how it's possible to be free like I'm right now like in another country. In my head it was impossible, you know, because like people hate gay people, but in USA it's like it's completely different. Like no one who hates you because you're gay. So
And then have some of the same people that like try to beat you up and stuff, have they like commented on stuff like now? Or like have they messaged you about?
yeah, of course, like yeah, I have a lot of comments. I have a lot of like in messages, like some messages like, "Oh my God, you fucking faggot!" Like, if you come back to Russia, I dreaming when you come back to Russia, I'm gonna kill you, or I'm gonna like do something bad for you, you know. And actually, it's like super. It's like makes me super sad because I know how like I'm sad not about myself. I sad about people who live in Russia. Um, and I don't know how can I help them. And when like people ask me about some interview or do something, and I try to make some video to like protect them. I'm always answering to messages. It's like a lot of it's like not 100, it's maybe 1,000 messages, and I will try to answer to them to like give them like some inspiration, like something to like some warm, you know, because I know how is it to be gay in Russia.
Siva Galkin is a producer, filmmaker, and photographer who works with a lot of gay men and lives in Russia.
Well,
Oh no, like with like have you work face homophobia with your job or something?
oh yeah, okay. So I'll start to speak Russian. Yeah.
Only in the late 90s, at the start of my career. At that time, gays were considered second-rate people, people who cannot shake hands. It was the legacy of the Gulag. Currently, virtually none. Only once, about 3 years ago, my new boxing coach found out that I was gay. He was very surprised and did not know how to react. Nevertheless, he began to put me in sparrings only with the weakest boxers or with girls. I had to go to another coach. After some time, the coach met me at the store and apologized. He said he was wrong.
Do you have any activism of being part of project? Мой активизм – это мой сайт.
Not. I do not think this will bring results. My gay activism is my information and entertainment portal, tguy.ru. Often, gay activists use protest meetings to create a case for political immigration. They receive photographs of how the police arrest them. They receive an arrest certificate from the police station and go with it to the USA or Holland. This is not a political immigration, but an economic one. But they disappear from Russia and do nothing more for the LGBT movement in Russia. But not all people are like this. I really respect the work of Igor Kochetkov and his organization in St. Petersburg. They provide legal assistance to people from the provinces who have been subjected to gay discrimination at work or at the place of study.
What are your views of the gay Chechnya? Russia is a federation of different area. В одних областях
It should be understood that Russia is a federation of different regions. It is also like in the USA. There are, for example, New York and Washington, and there is the city of Salt Lake City, Utah. Some regions in Russia are very archaic. This concerns not only gay, there is actually feudalism. If you do not agree with the policy of the clan of Ramzan Kadyrov, you are in big trouble. According to the statistics, the largest number of people who seek political asylum from Russia is from the Chechnya region.